Okay. Recording has started.
We good?
We're ready to go.
Okay, it's 2 o'clock. I declare open the North Sydney Council Local Planning Panel meeting of 5th of March 2025. Can I ask all participants, when not talking, to place their device on mute? I'd like to acknowledge the traditional custodians, the Karamagal people whose lands we are now meeting, and I'd like to pay my respects to the elders past and present and all other Aboriginal people who are watching or participating in today. Attendees are advised that the local planning panel meeting is live streamed and recorded in line with the provisions of the EPN Act. This notice is made as required under Section 18 of the Privacy and Personal Information Protection Act 1998. Please note that private recording of the local planning panel meeting is not permitted. First of all, I'd like to introduce the members. My name is Vince Hardy. I'm the chair of today's panel meeting and proceedings. The other panel members are Annalise Chua, an independent expert, John McFadden, who is an independent expert, and John Bahan, who was a community member. There's no apologies. Disclosures of interest in accordance with the Code of Meeting Practice. All planning panel members have been asked to sign a declaration of interest for each matter that we are dealing with today, and there's 5 items. We've received a declaration of interest. I think one panel member has something they wish to clarify, and that's John McFadden. Do you want to please?
Mr. Chairman, thank you. Just in relation to DA 266/23, I wish to declare that I acted on behalf of Council for the Land and Environment Court appeal on the adjoining property. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate that, and I've considered that and don't consider that sufficient enough a conflict to not allow him to participate in the panel proceedings on that item. The statement I'll now read applies to all persons making verbal submissions to the planning panel. All members of the public addressing the panel must declare prior to commencing their address any political contributions or donations they may have made over the past 4 years exceeding $1,000 to any political party or candidate in the last ordinary election of council. All speakers will be invited to speak for 3 minutes. If there's an applicant, which I don't think there is today, they'll get some extra time to respond to any of the issues raised. We have 5 items on the agenda today. And the first of that is item number 15, Walluringa Avenue, Carrabba Point. And we have 2 registered speakers, but as I understand it, Anne and Gerald Fletcher, but as I understand it, Anne is going to use the allocation for both speakers and utilise the 2 allocations of 3 minutes, which equals 6 minutes. Is that correct with your understanding, Anne? You're on mute now. Sorry.
Yes, that is correct. Can you hear me now?
Yep, we can. Okay. Are you ready to go?
Yes, I am.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As stated in our submissions, we're delighted and proud to have Nutcote, the museum, as our neighbour. We're supportive of its cultural activities and the need to improve access. We wish to make reasonable points about the proposal, and we wish to work with Nutcote Council and Architect in order for the residential community to share amenity with Nutcote. As explained in our September submission, we have grave concerns about 3 aspects: visual privacy, noise from the lift, and increased noise from the creation of the new terrace, and thirdly, pleasant outlook. The AK planning report, to which we were given access last Thursday, and the acoustic report we received later, have not satisfactorily addressed our concerns. The DA has not adhered to Council's DCP on these points: visual privacy, section 3.2.12, open entertaining spaces such as terraces should not be on rooftops. The rooftop terrace overlooks our living area, no mention of privacy screens. Acoustic privacy, section 3.2.10. Mechanical equipment such as pumps should not be located adjacent to bedrooms or living areas on adjoining properties. The lift and pump are so situated, and a rendered building board wall, a garden shed and a corner position are insufficient to substantially reduce this noise. Views, section 3.2.8. To encourage view sharing with equitable access to views. We do not claim a water view from our apartment's only living area. The very pleasant outlook, particularly from a seating position from 2 key windows, will be ruined by the lift installation. Whilst we would have preferred to have the panel refuse approval for the DA, being reasonable, we are seeking a deferral of the decision. These are the reasons. 1. Insufficient time was allowed for consideration of the reports, precluding the obtaining of expert legal and planning advice. Relevant documents were not available on the website last Thursday, the acoustic report only being added at our request, and other amended plans appearing later without notice. Issues have arisen re intensification of use, possibly changing the use from mainly museum into an entertainment centre. We believe this is important enough to deserve thorough investigation, including reviewing current consent conditions. There should be further consideration by the panel before any approval. Secondly, deficiencies were noted in the AK planning report, including a repeated misrepresentation of the increased seating as being only 6 additional seats. In fact, there will be 18 additional new seats. The latest addendum to Statement of Environmental Effects, which appeared, I think, on the weekend, says it's seeking a total of 44 seated patrons. Secondly, in the report, the repeated statement that the site is only used 2 to 4 times a year outside 11 to 3. We know by observation, and we have got evidence from council that at least 8 booked events occurred in the last 12 months outside the standard times, and that's not including large gatherings and community events such as the Nutcote Fair. Thirdly, the positioning of the lift so close to our apartment's living area is really awful impact on us. It was highly inappropriate and could have been avoided. There are several positions the lift could have been placed inside the existing building. Alternative solutions to creating improved access to Nutcote appear not to have been considered, such as a ramp, an inclinator or platform lift. The acoustic report, finally, makes it very clear that an expected rise in patronage is anticipated, and having patrons on the new terrace at the rear of the building will increase noise level affecting neighbours considerably. Daytime noise, 11 to 3, estimated to be 55 decibels, the maximum accepted daytime level, with it exceeding levels in the evening. Why? There are various reasons which I won't go into now. This DA arguably allows for the conversion of a museum and tea rooms into an entertainment venue in the midst of a quiet residential precinct. The applicant denies intensification and, without having visited our place, claims there is no increase in overlooking neighbouring properties. We reject this. Therefore, we believe the project needs more careful scrutiny and should be deferred, particularly as alterations were made to the plans and put on the website at 5 minutes to midnight, without notifying us as an objector or providing time for any public exhibition. Council should be a model applicant in this regard, open and transparent. If you do not agree to a deferral and re-exhibition of the amended plans for community consultation, then we ask for conditions to be imposed. One which limits total number of large gatherings, functions and community events to 4 times per annum. And apart from these 4 occasional large events, there should be conditions limiting attendance at any other time to 60 people on site and events to finish no later than 8 p.m. We also ask that building modifications are made to reduce the noise to us and to introduce strict conditions limiting the noise effects on neighbours for both everyday and occasional large events.
Thank you, Mrs. Fletcher. I appreciate that. Do any panel members have any questions? No, I have no questions either. Thank you for your time.
Mr. Chairman, can I just add one line to that, please?
Just the one. Sorry, you need to state your name. Sorry.
Grant McMillan.
Yeah.
I'm on the committee at Wolleringham Mansions and was the chairman for many years. We, on behalf of the committee, are keen to see this submission be supported that has been presented by Anne and Gerald Fletcher, and that it receives a rigorous and fair review. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McMillan. If there's no other speakers on this particular agenda item, and indeed there's no other speakers on items 2, 3 and 4, so that leaves us with the only other registered speaker for item 5, which is Mary Ann.
Sorry, we got Sean Johnson on the first one.
Sean Johnson. I was not given that detail.
Is he the applicant?
Yes.
Well, I was Mr. Johnson.
Yes.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
that's okay.
I wasn't sure if
given
I
the
was
details.
needed. I wasn't sure if I was needed, but I'm Sean Johnson from Lucas Stapleton Johnson Architects. So we're responsible for the design. There's a lot of points being raised by Anne Fletcher there, and there's quite a detailed report done by the council staff, which address many of those points. The views are gone into in some detail in that report, and the conclusion is that there's no unacceptable loss of views. As for the late changes, I'm not sure what that refers to. The drawings have been submitted quite some time ago. Additional information was provided on the noise, and the lift is going to be used very infrequently, and it's a hydraulic lift. It's quite quiet, and the acoustic engineer has given reassurance on the noise levels. I don't know whether I can deal with all of Anne's points in detail. There's such a lot of things being mentioned
Mr. Johnson,
there. Yeah.
Mr. Johnson, you don't have to deal with them unless there's something specific you'd like to specifically address. We're happy to hear from it, but there's not an expectation that you are to respond to it and then participate in the debate with the present objection.
Fair enough. Yeah. Just one thing, the position of the lift was very carefully considered, and other alternatives such as an inclinator were considered, but really there was no practical alternative. Putting it inside the building would reduce the floor area considerably and also have heritage impact. And that's also mentioned in the council report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Any other panel members have any questions of Mr. Johnson? Thanks, Mr. Johnson. Okay, there's no other speakers, I'm aware. So again, that closes for today's purposes the public meeting portion of this panel. The item 1.
Excuse me, Mr. Chair, may I make a comment?
Not particularly, no, sorry. This isn't an open forum for questions and discussion and debate, and you've been given 6 minutes. So there's no other opportunity for comment, unfortunately.
It was only to respond to the fact that those documents were not put on site, on the website, until the last couple of days. So I'm not sure why there was a delay. And secondly, as we know, that building...
Mr. Fletcher, I've said that there's an opportunity for comment, so thank you anyway.
Okay. All right, thank you.
All right. Thank you. So we'll now move on to item 5, as there's no registered speakers for items 2, 3 or 4. And we have, I think it's the applicant, Mary Ann Bareji. You're on mute. You have 3 minutes starting from now. Marianne?
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to come on and just, as you would be aware, I am a councillor on North Sydney Council, so I just wanted to disclose that. But I'll hand over to my husband to just make a few comments on the application. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thomas Berrigy, husband of the applicant. Look, we don't have any particular submission we'd like to make. We're really just here to address any questions or issues that the panel may have. We thank the assessor for his report. We're happy with his recommendation and the conditions that he's recommending to be imposed on the application. And yes, happy to address any questions.
So, panel members, are there any questions of the applicant in this instance?
I've just got one question in terms of the new bathroom. Just what's the logic in not using the bathroom that you've already got and then extending sort of out to the side with this new one? What was the thinking process behind that?
Yeah, so initially, the initial plans that went to the panel some time ago and were approved. When we initially lodged the plans, that master bedroom there on level 2 was considerably larger. Through feedback from the assessor, it was determined that the size of that room needed to be reduced significantly to eliminate all potential for view loss from neighbouring properties. At the time, we didn't fully sort of appreciate what that meant, and we simply adjusted the size of the room. When the architect came back and looked at it again, accommodating a wardrobe and a bathroom within the space remaining, and then a bed, there was insufficient space in line with sort of contemporary expectations for a master suite, particularly in a waterfront location. And so the architect's solution was to push the bathroom out to the side within the existing footprint to accommodate the bathroom, freeing up some additional space for wardrobing and other features, and restoring the room to a scale in line with expectations.
So when the bedroom 6 was bigger, in which direction was it bigger? Was it bigger to the north or the south or
to the east?
And that was going to supposedly have view loss issues when it was going
that
towards
was yes, from properties to the north northwest. So the residential flat building at 182 Carrabba Road, adjacent to the driveway, plus properties further to the north as well, that would look over our roof line across to the main harbour.
Okay, I think I understand. Thank you.
Any other questions, panel members? No? Okay, thank you for your time, Thomas and Marianne. We appreciate that. I will shortly close the public session of the local planning panel because there's no other public speakers, as I understand it. The determination minutes from this session will appear on the council website. Excuse me, Council Officer.
Close the business Friday.
Close the business Friday. So you'll be able to access the decisions at that time. Thank you for your participation, and I'll now close the council meeting at the local planning panel meeting at 2:19.